Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacey. Real people, real issues, and real estate. You're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment. Joining us by phone today, very specially a guest, Mitch Russo, entrepreneur and author of The Invisible Organization. Welcome to the show, Mitch.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
So I want to give everybody a quick bio on Mitch because he has a pretty fascinating background. Mitch co-founded TimeSlips Corp., which grew to become the largest time tracking software company in the world before it was sold to Sage in 1998. Then Mitch went on to join longtime friend Chet Holmes as president, later to join forces with Tony Robbins, and together created Business Breakthroughs International with nearly 300 people and about $25 million in sales. Mitch began writing The Invisible Organization in 2013. It was published this year. And excited to hear from you, Mitch, because not only does the book sound amazing, but you have an unbelievable background with Chet Holmes and Tony Robbins, some cool characters. What caused you to write The Invisible Organization?
Well, thanks so much. And you're right. I had a lot of fun in being involved with Chet and Tony and writing the book. But for me, it really started in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in a little place called Manhattan Beach. Has anyone ever heard of Manhattan Beach before? It's separate from the rest of New York. No. Well, it's like a peninsula, and we lived down the street from the beach. And I would walk to school every day. It was a delightful time to be young and growing up. There was a problem, though. I didn't really fit in very well at school. Something for me was missing. Clearly, something was invisible. I felt like an outcast most of the time. And I wasn't a jock. I wasn't very social. I guess I was alone a lot. And as I entered junior high school, I started to play the guitar, which led me to forming a band. And I started to become visible. But making money didn't come immediately. It required some problem solving along the way. And that's kind of where I discovered some of the basic laws of business that stayed with me as I grew up and became the seed formula for the Invisible Organization.
That sounds interesting. What is an invisible organization?
Well, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, if you've ever remember thinking, geez, I'm missing something in my business, that something that could cause my business to be prosperous. Don't know where to find it really. Well, when you're reading the introduction to the Invisible Organization, you'll learn to look at the meaning of marketing and administration from different dimensions, which in turn can cause your organizational plans to really be the driving force for your success. So here's a great example. Let's talk about Sam. He's one of our readers. Sam was the CEO of a small but growing company. I guess he sold all kinds of things, but he sold programs on teaching people how to grow their company in a particular niche. At first he did pretty good. He got some publicity for his new company and products, and the money really started rolling in. The problem over time, I think, with Sam was having hired a bunch of people and adding a lot of infrastructure, and I know you know what I mean by that. His profits were dropping, and now his little but kind of quickly growing company was slowing down. The weight of his solutions were now too much to support. They became his problem. And it was when Sam found the section about how he can get rid of overhead and infrastructure and still make the money he needed to make and more. And by doing this, it returned his company to that vibrant, growing company he once had by doing just one thing. Now get this, by going invisible. He sent his staff to work at home.
Wow.
He no longer needed the real estate or the expenses connected with it. So his staff now worked harder and was much happier because not only did they get to make their own hours, they also spent less money to go to work, which means, and you know what this means, they got a raise.
Wow.
So Sam was happy too. Profits started to pour in, and the marketing ideas in the Invisible Organization helped him orchestrate one of the most dramatic increases in revenue since the early days. And that's just one example.
Yes, I love all of this because I think normally we're taught in the business world that visibility equates to success, and what you're saying is that's not true at all.
Not in this respect. In this respect, it doesn't.
Right.
You're right.
So what is another way to recognize the invisible?
So when you read The Invisible Organization, you'll discover how seeing your business through different eyes, really, will allow you to transition, actually, beyond what you thought was possible. And the secrets to delivering more value, actually, in what you offer to your clients will be so clear. So many businesses and organizations have found that it's far easier than they thought just by using, and I told you about this earlier, the first section of The Invisible Organization. You can begin immediately by honing your skills before you actually make a single change in your company. And you and I just had this conversation a minute ago. So let me give you an example. In the first section, you learn about, now listen to this, the mindset of the CEO. How CEOs think. That's the difference. That's the game changer.
All right. Mindset of the CEO is going to be the game changer before anything else. So
That's right.
How can businesses apply this to their sales force?
Well, here's an example of where you'll learn to move beyond the challenges that hold most of us back and how to achieve real and effective marketing in all of your interactions. Here's another good example, Robert. Now, Robert built a nice business cleaning carpets out on Long Island, and he started from scratch like most of us do out of his garage. He was 36 years old when he started the business. The problem was that over the years, he watched as smaller competitors came along and ate away at his market share. And believe me, he was concerned. But then in the chapter about virtual sales, which I want you to read as well, he discovered how hiring salespeople practically for free could solve a lot of his problems. Using just that one chapter, he put a small virtual sales force on the phone, and believe it or not, in 6 months, he regained market share so powerfully. He learned, number one, how to recognize the flow of prospects and clients, and number two, to better manage his fleet of trucks. Okay. Listen to this. Using simple automated systems. Now, he was able to see solutions he didn't really see before, all by understanding how the invisible organization works, even for a carpet cleaner in Long Island.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this is awesome. All right. So, quick recap. Right now we have Mitch Russo with us, who is author of The Invisible Organization. By the way, if anybody wants to go run and buy a copy of this, which is what I've done, you can find Mitch's book on Amazon or visit his website at invisibleorganization.com or mitchrusso.com. I'm going to quickly recap a few things we've learned so far. Number one, visible does not necessarily equate to success. That in order to build an invisible organization, it starts first with the CEO's mindset. That needs to be your game changer. Next, you talked about how if we take away bricks and mortar, it means we can provide other and more value, for example, to the employees and to our customers, and the importance of recognizing the flow of customers and learning how to better automate the business. So next question, sales can be virtual, but what about customer service teams?
Yeah, see, customer service is a great example because people think they need to show up at a building to work in the area of helping customers. Well, let's take Linda, for example. Now, Linda owns a small commercial cleaning company out of Des Moines, and she started with no money, just a cell phone and $50 worth of cleaning supplies. 7 years later, she had over 50 people cleaning nearly 75,000 square feet of office space every week.
Wow.
It was just fantastic. Now, the problem was that she was stuck in her old way of thinking. But after reading Section 2 on how to quickly shift your perspective, she saw some opportunities that really were invisible to her before. She realized, and guess what? The visible, after reading the section about building a virtual sales and customer service team, that she could easily add new services and rapidly expand marketing using the very simple but powerful organization tools in the book. This is the Russo Visibility System. She saw what held her back, and once those barriers were removed, she became aware of the opportunities that she just couldn't recognize before. And it was like all of a sudden, she got clarity where really only indecision and stress existed before.
This is awesome. So does the search for success come down to someone knowing what to ask?
Oh, absolutely. You'll learn how to ask the right questions to help keep you focused on your goals, as opposed to getting the right answers to the wrong questions that keep most of us stuck. Repeating the same old patterns day after day can kind of leave us empty at the end of the day. You know, all of the people we're talking about today had his or her hearts in the right place. All were really hardworking people and cared a lot about the people that worked for them, their staff, of course. But most of them really never understood the power of working virtually in any company because they didn't know the right questions to ask. And that's why most CEOs who try to go virtual fail. They simply didn't realize that their own mindset is what holds the company back. And truthfully, this is not intuitive. I realize that, which is why I spent the first 25% of the book working first on the mindset of the CEO. And so you can skip years of asking bad questions and making wrong assumptions. And I know that for many of you listening out there, you may think that this is impossible, that this doesn't apply to your business. You know, I wasn't sure myself that what I had learned would work for others. And it wasn't until I watched as others applied my ideas and concepts in the invisible organization to their real life that it became real to me, too. And sometimes we all need a little assurance that we are heading in the right direction. And that's what the invisible organization provides. It's a rather refreshingly new slant on growing a business to double, redouble, or maybe even double again. Yes. Most importantly, by redefining the foundation that drives your operating decisions, the rules of the game change, and that opens the door to magic.
I love it. So basically you're saying that you have to knock down the walls in your head before you knock down the walls of your organization, literally.
Very clever.
I love it. Beautiful. That's a great summary.
So you're saying basically that business growth really always comes from within.
Yes. And you know what? You'll experience this yourself. The step-by-step process from administrative to sales that will bring you the action plans to accomplish your goals really beyond what you thought possible. And it all begins when you become aware of the power of the mindset. I mean, even Tony Robbins, after understanding the power of building a virtual organization, saved about $1 million in year 2 of his transition to sending his teams home. Imagine what it would be like if you were able to do that too. And, you know, if you're not yet at the stage of growth where you could save $1 million, why not use the simple, precise blueprint in the invisible organization to build a sleek, efficient company with staff and clients who love you because they are getting exactly what they need and nothing more.
Right.
And you know what that is? That's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You get to walk away with the tools and knowledge to gain there's something more there, but you just didn't see it before. Anyone who has the desire to find a solution to the problem of slow growth or low profits or even unhappy staff will walk away with the gift of now knowing how to fix just about any situation, any company, using the simple step-by-step formulas inside my book. Now you'll just never depend on anyone to grow your company again.
So you believe that employees even are more productive if they're left on their own?
Well, you know, the landmark study Does Working from Home Work by Stanford University shows that there is an increase of 13% in productivity by sending your staff home to work. 13%, and that's a minimum.
Wow.
Really?
That
That's
seems
staggering.
counterintuitive. Yeah.
It does. I figured
Doesn't
if
it?
you send people home, they're busy with their families
No.
and doing everything but work.
But I get it, because I think you overcompensate. I definitely think I overcompensate if I'm at home. Like, I feel like I need to work harder to get more done. I don't know.
Exactly. And the other thing about it is it's not just relying on people and hoping that they do the right thing. It's in having the systems in place to monitor and track people's activities as they work throughout
Right.
the day. This is how successful managers keep track of everything going on inside of your invisible organization.
Yes. So, Mitch, talk for a moment. We have roughly about a minute and a half left. Talk for a second, because you coach CEOs. Talk about your business and how you help CEOs break down barriers and go invisible.
Exactly. Well, yes, and I'll give you an example of a recent client that I just worked with. His name is Josh, and he runs a company, about a $4 million company, and he sells training programs. And the name of his company is Linked Selling. He does a great job of helping people learn how to sell over LinkedIn. So what he came to me and said, look, I got a problem. My problem is that I just can't get work through my company fast enough to satisfy my clients, and I have to keep adding salespeople because I need to grow my business, and I'm running out of space where we house our company.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down with him, and we built a plan, and where, as opposed to having to rent more real estate, we figured out a way for him to shed most of the infrastructure he currently occupied, add powerful systems and mechanisms to create a virtual workforce, a consulting workforce that rocketed his sales. That will probably, now the plan was just completed in the last 60 days. He predicts he'll generate an additional $1.2 million in the next 12 months just from using this one idea.
Wow, that's great.
That is amazing. Mitch Russo, his book is The Invisible Organization. You can find Mitch at invisibleorganization.com or mitchrusso.com. Thank you for joining us today, Mitch. This has been amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. That's all for this edition of Leaders and Legends. Tune in again next weekend for more.